I mean, you got to remember, Canelo came from junior middleweight too. So what are we saying here? Are we talking about something that's impossible? He did it. Why he can't do it? He ain't gonna take his time and go weight by weight. He's just gonna go ahead and make the jump. So maybe he feels like he's better equipped for it than Canelo was. But we'll find out.
I can't believe it's come around so quick. Feels like a bit of a lack of hype, but all the hype comes on fight week, and I'm sure it'll be massive next week. I think Canelo looks pumped. I think he wins the fight by late stoppage, but I think it's a good fight. You know, Charlo's a very talented fighter. I do think he's too small, but he can really fight. And I think if Canelo's not the same fighter, he'll struggle.
I think Jermell's a very talented fighter, but he comes undone a little bit. He opens up himself up and he gets a little bit crazy in the exchanges. We noticed that with the Brian Castano fight and all that stuff. And honestly, with a guy 2 weight classes bigger and that strong, I don't know if you can afford to do that. I think if Jermell is mentally focused and disciplined, he can make a good fight out of this. Because I think he's more gifted as an athlete, but I just don't know if mentally he has the self-control to keep a disciplined game plan throughout the whole fight. I haven't noticed that from him yet.
Just said this before, you know, Charlo's huge for the super welterweight, and Canelo used to be a super welterweight. So it's not like Canelo's been a career-long, natural, big guy. Probably Charlo's going to be the bigger guy on the night, and I don't know whether he's got the right style to give Canelo problems, that sort of walk-down pressure style. But at this stage of his career, who knows what Canelo's got left? You know, he's had some tough fights recently, and you know, he's had that loss to Bivol. He was a bigger, natural guy, but he was very sort of technically astute. So it's a great fight. I think it's a really good fight, and I think a lot of people at the time have started going, oh, you know, Charlo's coming up 2 weight divisions, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be really well balanced.
Is Canelo slowing down? If he is, it'd be a good fight. If not, I think he's. I think that jump of a divisions that weight is a lot. You know, like he's going to try and bully him, and he's very good at doing that, making you punch by not taking a lot. But Charlo's spirited, and he's there to fight. So another good one. But I think you still make Canelo favourite. Where's it going to be as well?
It's in Vegas.
Yeah. He's definitely Canelo's a favourite there. We all know what goes on. We all know what goes on in Vegas. We all know the politics of Vegas. Like the money Canelo brings to Vegas. Unless Charlo knocks him out, if it's close, it's Canelo's. If it's not close, it's just by a couple of rounds. It's still Canelo's. You know what I mean? So yeah, good luck to Charlo. I hope he gets paid well, and I hope he puts on a show. But he's got it all against him.
Yeah, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a very big light middle, so he's basically a middleweight, and he's a decent size as well. So I don't think that, although Canelo's 2 weights above him, I don't think he'll look 2 weights above him. I think they're pretty even. I think an old picture come out of them where Charlo's massive to him, so I think naturally there won't be much size in it. Charlo's a good fighter, obviously he's an undisputed champion. I think there's still a lot of question marks on, is Canelo starting to dip a little bit in his performances, and I think if that is the case, then no, I think it could be a good fight. The best Canelo should have a little bit too much for Charlo, but timing in boxing's everything, the timing could be right. But it was outside the box. I think everyone assumed it was going to be the bigger Charlo, and obviously with the light middleweight one. But it's not as a mismatch that people think a light middleweight against a man who's been a light heavyweight world champion. I think size-wise, there actually won't be much in it come fight night.
It's a tough ask, isn't it? But I'm of the opinion that Canelo's been around a long time. He's been in some big fights and he's had some hard fights, and he's had a long life of boxing, and you know, his body breaking down and everything else. And training camps aren't good for you. They're not good for your body, really. You know, you have a lot of injuries, and you're sparring and head trauma and everything else that goes on. I think Canelo is probably not at his best anymore. I think there's signs that he may be on the slide, which is only natural. And Charlo's been written off, hasn't he? He's been written off completely. But I think if you just look at how Canelo's been performing recently, I think that Charlo has a chance.
No, it's Canelo's way. But Jermell, I believe, can be because the latest fight of Canelo, I can feel is start to slow down. And let's see what will happen. Supposed to win Canelo, but anything can happen.
Jermell won't be ready, so Jermell has stepped in. So listen, it's good, like a brother should, stepping up for his other brother. But it'd be intriguing. Listen, stepping up 2 weights might not be that much of a disadvantage for him. He's a big lump. He probably struggles to make 154. So I think he could go in there with the enjoyment of camp, not having to kill himself, boiling down, and it could be what he needs in his career now. So I'm sure it'll be an exciting fight, and be good to see where Canelo's at.
I can't see it. I can't see it. He's got all the attributes, but I just think the size, even though he's taller, everyone's taller than Canelo, but I think down the stretch, the punch power of Canelo will take his toll. But yeah, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in plenty of fights before. It might be me just favouring Canelo because he's one of my favourite fighters. So yeah, that's what it is. But it's a very good fight anyway, because Charlo's a top fighter, one of the best on the planet also. So yeah.
I do give him a chance. He's a very talented fighter. I think Canelo is still a force to be reckoned with. Beats 99% of fighters in the world today. He's not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is enough to give hellfire to a lot of fighters out there and beat them. Charlo, can't write him off because this is a winnable fight for Charlo. He's a talented fighter. He's a skilled fighter. So will the power make a difference? That might be the key factor.
I think if he were able to, and if he were able to beat Canelo, I think this is probably the best time for him to get in the ring with Canelo. I'm on record for saying that I don't think Canelo is who he was 3 years ago, 3 years plus ago, which, you know, how many of us are? You know, time goes and it is what it is. But I think that even being a B plus fighter, I think that gets the job done against Jermell Charlo, who is really one dimensional, a killer right hand, not much before it and not much after it, and I think you need more than that to beat Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, I think Canelo would be too strong for him, to be honest. He's a good fighter, Canelo, and people say that he's not the fighter he was, but he's still got really fast hands. He's changed his defence over the years to putting pressure on you with his gloves up high. He puts you under pressure and he waits for you to make a mistake, and he hits you with a quick counter shots. So and he's very strong and he punches hard. So I think Charlo will be in the fight in the early rounds, but I think he'll wear him down and knock him out eventually.